I'm a small business owner, and right now we could hire 1 to 4 people, but because of the banks and putting constraints on small business loans, it's not worth the risk. That's really, they've tightened the screws to where, when, you know.
Address to what she was saying. President Clinton, when he first came into office, was conservative. The Democrats hated him, so he went liberal. Well, then when the Republicans came in Congress, his aide said, Mr. Clinton, you gotta move to the right. And that's why all those jobs were created. Now let me tell you a little something about money with the rich.
Well, he had help moving to the right, because a Republican Congress came in 1994.
That's where all the jobs were.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, let me tell you something. You say, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. $250,000 is not rich. Okay, I started a company in 1952, all by myself. Nobody ever gave me zero. From one person, we employed 320 people until Obama took over. I'm not preaching, but the money that we made didn't go into my pocket. It went into the company so that we could pay our employees when your customers were not paying you. Sometimes you didn't get paid for 90, 120 days. And when you got a payroll that big, you can't take any money. You've got to have it in the company. You got to pay your suppliers. Because if you don't, you ain't going to be in business. So and that's all the newspapers want you to hear. Tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. $250,000 is not rich. I mean, the people need the money to put back in the company. And if it doesn't happen, that's why there's no jobs being created.
Hold on. Do you want to?
I talk a lot of.
No, thank you.
No, honestly.
Don't
I
stop.
want to argue with you. You seem like a safe.
Don't stop.
I've been there and done that. 59 years.
Question or thought?
In regard to the tax rate, I've heard for 2 days now about how unified they are and so glad that everyone's gotten together to extend the tax cuts. For 2 years, I hope when it gets to the House side that they say, wait a while, 2 years is tomorrow. We've got to have 6 or 8 years. You're not even going to get the thing off the floor. And he says, on television, I heard him make the quote, on television, he's going to make sure he doesn't extend the tax cuts. Where are we going?
Unfortunately, I think the deal's already been cut, and so I think the Republican leadership in the House, they've arrived at the 2-year extension as well. And it doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really provide certainty either. All the way in the back.
How would you respond to Warren Buffett saying he's undertaxed?
He should voluntarily.
He's obviously very rich. He's a second richest person. He's obviously very rich. He's obviously created a lot of jobs over the years. Would that make you consider maybe a higher tax bracket, something like $5 million and above or $10 million and above? I mean, if you're making $10 million a year, you're a super rich person. Why not?
It would encourage me to encourage him to voluntarily give as much as he can to the government.
Are you serious?
Because for every Warren Buffett you're going to find like that, I'm going to find a millionaire or billionaire who thinks they're way overtaxed. So I mean, that's not silly. You're not silly. It's silly for Warren Buffett to say that. If you believe that, then give more of your money to government.
And they could always give the money to the government. The Gates Foundation could give the money to the government. Warren Buffett could give the money to the government. Do you see them lining up to give the money to the government? No. How much have they all pledged? They're giving billions of dollars to the rest of the world and not a dime to the government.
We're a poor investment.
But Buffett's basic argument isn't that he should be taxed more. It's that his secretary thinks it's a double the tax rate that he does. And
We can still donate to government the money.
you know, that isn't fair.
I'm just wondering why we continue to talk about this agreement that we're going to keep giving tax breaks to the rich.
Quit saying tax cuts.
We're not going to give tax breaks to the rich. There are no tax breaks for the rich. The tax rates are what they are. What we're talking about is increasing the tax rates on everybody. That's the argument. It's not giving anybody else a tax break or a tax cut. We're not giving anybody.
Yeah, we're not talking about a tax cut.
No.
We're talking about keeping the rates where they are
Right where they are.
or increasing them.
Yeah.
There's no tax cut here. Yes, sir.
Here's a big question. Everybody talks about taxes. The reason we need taxes is the government's overplaying with spending. When are you going to stop the spending?
It's a spending problem, is what you're saying.
Absolutely right.
It's absolutely a spending problem. And again, goes to your worldview. We need to cut spending. I think we need to cut taxes to grow the economy, and we may disagree on that. That's one part of it. The other part is cut spending. And when you look at government, you know, there's a lot that we can cut when it comes to discretionary spending. In their Pledge for America, Republicans talked about going back to 2008 levels. Go back further. But there's certainly a lot. And
Entitlements are huge.
no, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Before you jump to entitlements, which is where most of the money is, a lot of the money is, don't ever get in the habit of thinking 30 billion here and 80 billion there and 110 billion there isn't anything. Look, I've been a teacher. I've spent a lot of my life dedicated to education reform. A lot of people in this auditorium may disagree with what I'm about to say. I don't see a purpose, and if this is being filmed, it's being filmed. I don't see what the Federal Department of Education has done for our schools. So, discussions like that, real spending cuts, looking at real parts of our government, having real debates about whether we need these things. Remember, at the federal level, and remember, before Northwest Herald, Daily Herald, you ripped me, I want better public schools in this country. I want the best public schools in this country as much as Democrats, independents, whoever. We have a different philosophy as to how we get them. I think we get better schools when our public schools are forced to compete. I want my tax money going to parents. I want parents to decide where they send their child to school, and I want our tax money to support that decision. And if they want to send them to a Catholic school, I worked a lot in the inner city, folks. The public schools, no matter what Mayor Daley tells you, the public high schools and schools in the city of Chicago, in too many neighborhoods, are prisons. I want those parents to have the right to homeschool their kids, to send their kids to a Catholic school, private school, you name it. I think that's how we improve schools. I got very long-winded because I love this issue. The point is, let's not. We're going to be talking about some big important things in the next 3 or 4 months. Let's be smart. Don't say that Republicans don't want good schools. Don't say Democrats don't want good schools. We got different ways to get there. Okay? It's that way with every issue. That's the big point I'm trying to make. You've been holding that hand up for a long time. It better be a good question.
Well, as far as the schools go, a report came out not too long ago that stated that since the federal government has gotten involved in our school system, we've gone from #1 worldwide down to about 24, 25.
Let me just gently say there hasn't been a positive correlation.
Okay. Healthcare. I agree with a lot of what you said, but that has to be coupled with work reform.
Yes.
We have too many people now
Yes.
that go to the doctor, and because the doctor didn't run this one test. I think a lot of it, the doctors are scared not to run all these tests because they're going to get sued by some lawyer who makes his living on suing people. Thirdly, I want to make this quick.
No, you're doing great.
As far as taxing the rich,
Yes.
why are they different Americans than the rest of us? They're not different. They've worked hard. They started from nothing. Some of them inherited. I agree, some of them inherited a lot of money. but a lot of them started with nothing and worked their way up, and they're living the American dream.
Here's the great thing about America. When you compare America statistically, according to studies, to every other country in the world, America believes in class warfare less than any country in the world. Statistically, most low-income people and most middle-income people don't want the wealthy overtaxed. Why? Why? Because they want to be there. They still believe in that. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. Huh?
You're not getting a job from a poor person.
You had a great healthcare point, though. So here's my fear when it comes to your issue. What you said is exactly right. Here's what I think, folks. We held more healthcare town halls during our campaign than, sounds like a politician, than any campaign in the country. I'd say than almost any other campaign, because I think there's no more important issue. Here's what I believe. Unless we repeal Obamacare, private physicians as we know them are gone in 5 years. They'll become unionized employees of hospitals. Private insurance, maybe a big bad guy to you, they're gone in 7 or 8 years. And here's my big fear. This may be your worldview. You may believe in a universal government-run healthcare system. I believe what we just passed last year is a first step toward that. And I think if we go down that road, the things you want covered, I think it's going to be even tougher in a restricted, one government, one-size-fits-all world like that. Question?
So, I am a small business owner. My wife and I own 2 small businesses. I also work full-time. We started another business because my wife could not find a good paying job, so we decided to start another business. Why is it that our country demonizes the business owner? Because I work full-time, and then in my spare time and whatnot, we try to build our business. So why is it that if we become successful down the road, we should be penalized because we took our weekends, we took our evenings, we took our other time to build our business? While other people are watching football, I'm out building my business. So why is it that if I eventually get to that point where I'm making $250,000 a year because I busted my booty to do it, why should I be penalized because I put that extra time and effort in?
You should.